on Afternoon Focus.
All right, check this out. So, the Webb telescope found 6 massive galaxies. There they are. And because of this discovery, experts say textbooks that we learned from when we were in school are going to have to be rewritten now, folks, on what happened in the 500 to 700 million years after the Big Bang. And we are starting out this Monday with a bang here on Afternoon Focus. Big welcome to you. I'm Julie Grant.
And I'm Maritza Giorgio, in for Rob Nelson, who continues to take time at home with his growing family. Thanks so much for having me.
Maritza, we're so happy to have you. And if you recognize Maritza's face, it's because she is one of the national correspondents for Scripps News. And
I'm
that's
based
also
in Montana.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's so fun to be able to come to Atlanta and meet everybody who I'm usually, talking to through my ear.
Yes. We've said before, Scripps News is the sister network to Court TV Network, where I work, and you've been kind enough to even do reporting for us. We've loved having you. You've been tremendous, and it's really great to have you in the studio and on the couch.
It's so fun, and it's a lot warmer in here than outside in Montana.
Yes, and warmer stories too that I know you're going to love. Well, we want to kick today off with some of the stories we've got at the top of our feed, and we begin with one that hits home for a lot of us who have lost pets that we love so much.
Yeah, if you Google the words Rainbow Bridge, you'll find lots of images with a poem describing a sun-drenched meadow where our four-legged friends who have left us are warm and comfortable with lots of room to run. But at the bottom, it says author unknown. Well, that will soon change. National Geographic is now reporting the author is 82-year-old Edna Klein Recke, and she actually wrote this poem as a 19-year-old who was just devastated after her dog Major died. Her mother suggested she write down how she was feeling to help get her through that painful loss.
And she never published it at the time, but instead gave it to friends who likely passed it around. The original authorship was forgotten for a time, but then it regained popularity when it was published in Dear Abby, and Klein Recke is now 82 years old. When National Geographic reached out to her for the story, she told them she had no idea it had helped so many of us. And Maritza, I hope you don't mind, would love if you would share a little bit personally what you've shared with us since you've come in to help us with the show this week. I'm sorry you had a loss.
We did. We just said goodbye to our 15-year-old dog, and they become so much a part of your family. And I'm so thrilled to know the author of this poem, because that Rainbow Bridge really helped us through, and reading just about where they possibly go after, and feeling that they're comforted and warm and taken care of, and just knowing how loved they were.
Oh yes, it's like that poem. It gives you hope.
It really does.
And they're always with us.
They become parts of our family, and even if you're prepared for it, you really aren't prepared for the enormity of just the hole they leave.
No, pets make everything better, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And everyone watching at home, sorry what you've gone through. And it's just we'll see them again. I think the hope that we'll see them again is what's gonna get us on to the next.
I hope so too. Well, now to a reunion, 9 years in the making. This is amazing.
Yeah, take a look at this sweet picture. This is sweet cat Piper and her owner, who had given up all hope of finding that little angel. She had gone missing for 9 years. When they were reunited after an animal shelter in Virginia got a call from somebody telling them that there was a stray on their porch who just wouldn't seem to leave. So they got the cat scanned for a microchip, that is, and then got the ball rolling to get little Piper back home. Maritza, I have to tell you, 9 years. I couldn't believe that happened. Really, I mean.
And imagine that family. That must. I mean, they had long since, I'm sure, thought their cat was gone, and to see their baby again.
Right. You would think hopeless, right? You would lose hope. I know I would. I mean,
absolutely.
Like, as much as you might have that little glimmer of hope inside you, you think, okay, practically speaking, if it's been 9 days, next thing you know, it's 9 months. That cat or dog, whatever the last pet is never coming back. But to know, thankfully, there are good, honest people who are responsible. And if you do find a stray, be responsible, make sure they're scanned, right?
We did some stories after the hurricane last year, and with animal workers who go looking for these displaced animals, and they say, don't give up hope, because so often they do find these animals even months, as we see here, years later.
That's great to hear. Oh my gosh. And microchip your pets, please. That's another good thing you can do for them. All right, so have you ever heard people joke about how the wildest news stories always seem to happen in Florida?
Yeah, for sure. And the adventures of so-called Florida man are things of legend. And now another Florida man has taken to social media to help the rest of the world understand just what is going on down there, at least as much as possible. Our friend Sherry Armstrong introduces us.
It's either the flip phone,
flip phone activate,
or his signature.
What's going on out here?
OMG, it's Wix captures a ton of views. Actually, in his words, it's more like
about 1 million a day
on popular social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. His content is all about Florida and some of the crazy moments we've all seen online. Wix says it's not all crazy though. In fact, sometimes
there's a reason.
Saying he uses his platform to help people understand, kind of like how you see here.
All right, serious question for Florida people. Why do all y'all got this weird fence around your backyard?
Then I would just like to show you some of the reasons.
You could say Josh Wicks Robinson knows Florida.
So this is all I know.
And that knowledge of what it's like to live here has caught the state's attention, leading to a recent partnership with the Florida Division of Emergency Management, covering topics like humidity and wildfires.
Now, we all know that during the summer, Florida can be very hot when you mix in the Florida sun mixed in with the humidity. Super humidity. My bad, y'all. Super humidity. I'm sorry.
Through brand deals and payment through social media platforms, he quit his day job exactly a year ago, but he tells me he's even busier now.
Try to shoot around 5 sketches a day.
5 sketches a day?
Yeah.
And he's getting even busier.
You're gonna be in a movie?
Yeah.
What? So what do people not know about you? Like everybody kind of feels like they probably know you, but what do people actually not know about you?
That I'm an introvert.
What?
I'm very introverted. I'm very in the house to myself type of person, yeah.
No, people would never think that about you. You making that up?
No, that's real.
Josh is a proud dad who says simply playing around on TikTok with his 2 girls actually led to all of this and what he hopes to show them and others.
You said your stuff really started taking off when you decided you were going to be your own person.
Yes, when I decided that I'm just going to be me, people start gravitating more towards me then.
Oh, gonna have to follow Florida Man on TikTok.
I'm going to have to join TikTok to follow Florida Man.
Maritza.
I know. I'm prehistoric.
Oh, no, you're just busy. You're just busy, doing news reporting. And so, no, we get it. TikTok, you spend a lot of time on TikTok.
I've heard. That's why I've avoided it, yeah.
All right, friends, get your popcorn ready as we want to bring you a few quick stories that are just fun to know. And today we're going to focus on a little-known fact about a well-known celebration that we all just witnessed.
Yeah, well, Mardi Gras may be over for this year. It's fun to know the annual celebration actually started in 1703 in Mobile, Alabama. Why Mobile? Well, it was the first capital of French Louisiana. The first known parade was held a few years later when 16 men belonging to the Fatted Ox Society pushed a cart carrying a papier-mâché cow's head, and it's only gotten weirder and wilder since.
Right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to admit, I've never actually been to one in person, but I would like to do it at some point, just like bucket list kind of thing.
I think you just have to experience it. Yeah, I've never been to one either, but the pictures are wild.
Yeah.
That's really
hard.
Wild is the perfect word for it, right?
Yes. And from wild celebrations we go now to an actress who might have started the America's Sweetheart tradition. We're talking about Shirley Temple.
Oh, and on this day in 1936, the 7-year-old star signed a contract worth $50,000 per film. That was a lot back then. Mm-hmm. It's fun to know that the studio, 20th Century Fox, forged the year on her birth certificate to make it seem as if she was a year younger, actually, so they could take advantage of her child star status a little longer. It's also fun to know that after President Nixon appointed her as an ambassador to the United Nations in 1968, she would actually go on to serve in the State Department for more than 20 years. She became the first woman to ever be chief of protocol and was named ambassador to then Czechoslovakia, by the first President Bush.
I had no idea. about any of that.
I know.
Who knew?
I know.
Should we
You just
tell-
see, like, if you say her name, it just conjures this image of her little ringlets.
Right. Was she adorable? Oh my goodness. I had no idea. Wow. Well, you know, kudos to her. And this is why we do the segment. It is just fun to know stuff.
It is fun.
To take to the water cooler today. Alrighty, we're going to squeeze in a quick break, but coming up next, a family channeling their grief to give back.
It changes your perspective on everything.
but destroys you at the same time.
She is the first thing on our mind every morning and the last thing before we go to bed.
Welcome back. Look at this spectacular rainbow that formed over snow-covered Niagara Falls. The falls are about 12,000 years old, and Niagara Falls State Park is the oldest state park in America.
It looks like AI. It doesn't even look real.
Right?
It's beautiful.
Just gorgeous. Yeah, the falls in the wintertime, so pretty. I've heard people say they like to go visit then just because it's just picturesque, like we showed you there. Oh, well, welcome back, and we're so glad you're with us on this Monday. You know, sometimes a single event can really change your life in more ways than you could ever imagine.
Absolutely. And the couple you're about to meet endured a deeply personal tragedy that shifted their priorities and made giving back the number one thing on their list. Our pal Forrest Sanders is in Rutherford County, Tennessee, with this story.
Between Dad Tyson Donaldson and sons Bryce, Brody, and Brett, Mom Jennifer says with this many guys in one house,
oh, that's inconvenient.
everyone is here to win everything.
Always between them and him.
We all assert our dominance at one time.
Hit him with a 2.
See who's best.
Hey, bye.
A few years ago, Tyson, a former Marine, was working in sales. Jennifer was a dental assistant.
We were happy. That's what we wanted to do.
Then in 2015, the Donaldsons learned they were having a little girl, Blakely. But there was something wrong in the ultrasound.
They told us she had Turner syndrome.
At 23 weeks, Blakely's heart stopped.
It changes your perspective on everything.
but destroys you at the same time.
She is the first thing on our mind every morning and the last thing before we go to bed, still.
What helped get this family through it was the kind words of an Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford nurse named Angela, seen here at the birth of one of the Donaldson's sons.
Angela came in, told us she had also lost a daughter. Somebody knew what we were feeling. Somebody knew what we were going through.
Jennifer began thinking maybe she could be the Angela in some other families' lives. Sure enough, today she's an RN with Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford. Tyson's life changed too.
I'm now a firefighter in the city of Murfreesboro.
The family has started the Blakeland Foundation, using events like a yearly 5K to help pay bills for families living through infant or pregnancy loss. And so a family, fiercely competitive, also does everything they can to carry on compassion, thanks to this little girl.
We didn't want her to be forgotten about. She was our child. She was real, and we just wanted to carry on her name.
Oh my gosh, does that tug at your heartstrings or what?
Oh, it's just, you can't imagine going through it yourself, right? It's just so hard.
Right. And I think what's really great about what they're doing is that they're talking about something that's hard to talk about, right? Something that it can be a very, I think, isolating experience, at least from friends and loved ones who I know have gone through the same thing. Have said, you just feel like you're all alone, you feel such despair, but to kind of shine a light on it and say, look, we're here for you, we're going to put this good energy forward and this mission of hope and mission of that onward movement. It's really a beautiful thing to see.
And to normalize that it's okay to talk about things that aren't okay, and it's okay to ask about those things.
Right. It's okay not to be okay, right?
Absolutely.
Like we should say it more. Like nobody is okay, even if people seem like it. Instagram looks great. TikTok is rocking. Nobody is okay. We're all going through something. So
absolutely
show that compassion, right? Like we like to talk about on this show. And we're going to keep the good stories going for you. We have to hit a quick break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the Shoe Shining crew making meaningful connections. So glad you are with us. Welcome back to Afternoon Focus. And you know, the stories we share with you here on the show, they have a common message that a little bit of empathy really goes a long way, and something that can make a world of difference in someone's day or even in somebody's life.
Yeah, that's right. And Jesse Cohen tells us about a special business that has built its success on the connection of people.
Looking clean and pristine.
Thanks again. Great job. Polish, more polish.
Was once the standard of travel.
These folks are the best, so no matter who I get, every time I have time when I'm in Denver, I always stop and get a shoe shine.
Voila, how do they look for you?
Look at that.
It's what veteran pilots have always known.
I know it doesn't look like it from looking at me, but I've been doing this for 27 and a half years.
But time has shifted.
The world's changed a lot.
And fewer travelers are gliding through the airport in tip-top shape.
See how it heats it? My name is Jill Wright. I'm the CEO of Executive Shine, and I love people.
That's why Executive Shine has stood the test of time.
We have a saying that we say is, what does love look like here for the person in front of you right now? And that's how our whole business runs.
You don't need your fanciest pair of shoes to stop by. Your leather sneakers or favorite boots will certainly suffice.
Those are the trends that have shifted. It's gone from really stiff to really soft. And I think that's kind of symbolic for what's happening with people.
To Jill and her team, a shiny pair of shoes is simply the cherry on top. This business, in the center of the Denver airport, is about the connection.
I mean, it literally gives me life to have you guys come back and see us again, just knowing that I touched your day in a special way.
Jill says it's rare people are given the opportunity to share.
People still need to be seen and be appreciated for who they are and just care. And I would ask advice, and then you see the guy scoot up in his chair. Well, let me tell you.
It goes deeper than the shine for me, for sure.
Tara Soto says shoes are a metaphor for how people judge themselves.
When we look at the shoes, you know, you come up and you're like, oh, they don't look so good, or there's a little bit of color off of the tips of the toes, or they're not in the best shape. You know, sometimes that's how we as people look at each other, or even ourselves. Like just dirty, without purpose. You know, I guess trying to find your worth, trying to find the beauty that you have inside.
It's a journey she's personally experienced, working here for nearly a decade.
Going through the transformation of cleaning them and conditioning them is really a personal transformation that we go through in life too.
We all know the saying, to walk in someone's shoes. In this case, it's about connecting soul to soul.
Always put yourself in the shoes of someone else.
Aw, you know, that's really sweet. Sometimes you can have the greatest conversations with someone you randomly meet when you're traveling, right?
Always. I always strike up conversations because you meet the most amazing people. I met a woman in Atlanta who has been going to the same church for all of her 77 years, and that happens to be Ebenezer Baptist, where Dr. Martin Luther King was a pastor. And to talk to her was so special.
Oh, I bet. And just randomly, you know, like, because you travel a lot, you know, doing the correspondent work on, then
everybody has a
story.
story.
You go.
I really am convinced of that. Everybody has a really interesting story.
Yes, so true. Oh, well, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're going to show you why this chipmunk has us going nuts. That's next.
Great to have you back. Meet Dinky. He is the most ambitious chipmunk we have ever seen.
I love him so much. Truly pushing the limits with how much food he can store in his cheeks. I mean, you could just keep watching. I love this little guy. And I want to know who named him. Dinky.
Dinky. So cute. Our director today, our head of studio, Matt Miller, was just saying it should be Alvin, right? Yeah. He looks like an Alvin or a Simon or a Theodora.
It's so cute. And we were saying it reminds me of, you know, when you go to like a party that has amazing food or one of these restaurants where it's all you can eat. It's like, okay, how much can I get? How much can I get?
Just keep going. Just bring that appetite on with you.
Oh, just keep going. You'll regret it later, but it's okay. Just enjoy the moment.
Love a good buffet. Yes. Guilty of that.
That is our show for today. We want to hear from you, though.
Yes, please send us your ideas to our Facebook page, and we will look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow afternoon. You know what we say. Same time, same couch.